In the quiet darkness of deep space, a group of young alien cadets sat inside their training cruiser. Their ship floated slowly near a forgotten edge of the galaxy. They were not supposed to be there, but curiosity was stronger than fear. "Have you heard the story?" one cadet asked, her voice low. "About the human warship that can vanish like smoke?" The others laughed nervously. "You mean the fairy tale?" Another replied. "That's just a story for younglings. No one's ever seen it. No record, no data, just rumors." But the first cadet didn't laugh. Her name was Rilke, and her grandfather once told her a different version of the tale. "My grandfather was a soldier during the Great Human Wars," Rilke whispered. "He said he saw it, just once. A warship that didn't fly, it floated like a god. They fired at it, but their weapons didn't even touch it. And then it vanished." Outside, the stars blinked softly, and silence returned. But suddenly, a beep echoed from the ship's console. "Comm signal detected," said the pilot, surprised. "But it's coming from the dead zone." "No way," one cadet said. "That place was closed centuries ago." The pilot adjusted the controls. Static filled the room. Then a strange human voice spoke in perfect galactic common. "We are still watching." Everyone froze. The signal ended as fast as it began. The commander of the training cruiser, Captain Doran, stormed into the room. "Who touched the communications? Array?" "No one, sir," Rilke replied. "It came through by itself." Captain Doran's face turned pale. He had heard those words before, years ago, during a secret briefing. "Set course back to base," he ordered. "We're leaving now." But as the cruiser turned, the space ahead of them changed. A thick fog-like darkness appeared out of nowhere. Lights flickered, controls stopped working. And then they saw it. A shadow, massive, silent, drifting just outside their window. The cadets pressed against the glass. It wasn't just a ship. It was something ancient, large enough to block out stars. Its surface was covered in glowing human symbols. Its engines didn't burn. They hummed, a low sound that vibrated through bones. Rilke whispered, "It's real." The ghost ship didn't move. It just floated, there watching. "Should we hail it?" the pilot asked. "No." Captain Doran said, "Don't do anything." But it was too late. The ghost ship's lights blinked once, then twice. And just like that, it vanished. No warp signature. No trail. Nothing. "It's gone," someone whispered. The crew stood in silence, not knowing if they had seen a ghost or something worse. Captain Doran slowly sat down. "This changes everything," he said. "Report to command. Tell them the fairy tale is back." Later, in the darkness of her cabin, Rilke replayed the words again and again in her mind. "We are still watching." And somewhere far away, across the stars, deep inside an asteroid field, the warship reappeared. Quiet, waiting, preparing. The grand hall of the Galactic Council shimmered with blue light as powerful alien leaders gathered inside. Tall, proud figures from many species sat in silence. Tension filled the air. At the center of the room stood a projection, a blurry image of something massive, something unnatural. A nervous officer, Commander Doran, stood before them. He had brought the report. He had seen it with his own eyes. "We witnessed the warship," he said. "The human ghost ship. It sent a signal and appeared near our training vessel. Then it vanished." The room burst into whispers. "A legend," hissed one counselor. "Old myths and bedtime stories." "No," Doran replied. "I saw it myself. So did my cadets." A counselor from the Threxian Empire stood. "This is nonsense. There are no humans left capable of such things. Their war era ended long ago. The last of their fleets were destroyed." Doran clenched his fists. "I know what I saw." But the chair of the council, a tall being with silver eyes, raised a hand. "We will not spread panic based on old tales. You are dismissed, Commander." The guards led Doran out. Watching silently from the crowd was Rilke. She had followed her commander to the capital, hoping the leaders would believe him. But now, she saw the truth. They were afraid. Not of the warship, but of what it meant. Rilke returned to her quarters and opened her grandfather's old storage file. Inside were secret records, banned footage from the human-alien war. She played one of them. It showed a battlefield filled with burning ships. Alien cruisers screamed through the skies, firing everything they had. And then, it came. A human warship like none she had ever seen. Smooth, dark, almost invisible. It didn't fire weapons. It didn't speak. It just hovered, absorbing damage, feeding on energy. And then, one by one, the enemy ships collapsed like toys. Rilke stared at the screen. Why was this footage hidden? Outside, her window stars moved slowly, but something else caught her eye. A blinking message on her personal device. Unknown sender. No voice. Just a line of text. They are lying. The ship was never destroyed. Follow the red star. Rilke's heart raced. At that same moment, far away in deep space, a civilian mining ship drifted near the red star region. Its crew was bored, until the scanners picked up a massive heat signature. What is that? The captain asked. No one knew. The object was too big, too cold, too quiet. They moved closer. As their lights turned toward it, they saw edges, curves, an outline. Then one crew member whispered, "That's not an asteroid. That's a ship." Before they could react, all their screens turned black. A voice came through, "Prepare for judgment." Then silence. Next morning, only a floating distress beacon was found, transmitting a single human heartbeat. Back at the Galactic Council, alarms rang across the halls. Multiple systems were now reporting strange sightings. Space was acting wrong. Signals were being received that hadn't been heard in over 300 years, all tied to ancient human languages. Rilke walked into the shadows of the archive vault. She had made up her mind. "They won't believe it," she whispered. "But I will. Find the truth." She took her personal ship and launched into space alone. No orders, no plan. Just one target, the red star. As she left orbit, her ship's system detected a small signal nearby, an old human code. Repeating, Rilke leaned in. It said, "This time we don't forgive." Space was quiet near the red star. Too quiet. No comm signals, no asteroid movements. Even the natural hum of the galaxy felt like it had been muted. Rilke's ship drifted carefully between broken rocks and frozen debris. Her eyes scanned the endless void. Somewhere out here, the ghost warship was hiding. She could feel it, like the cold breath of something watching her from the dark. Suddenly, her scanners blinked red. Object detected. No data. "There you are," she whispered. Her ship's lights turned slowly, and then, through the thick clouds of stardust, it appeared. Huge, calm, deadly. A black warship, bigger than a city, floated without a sound. Its surface glowed with soft blue lines that pulsed like veins. There were no visible weapons, no open bays, just a solid body shaped like a spear aimed at the heart of the galaxy. Rilke couldn't speak. Her breath stopped. The fairy tale was real. It was real and alive. She activated her comms. "This is Officer Rilke of the Galactic Council. I come in peace. Do you hear me?" No answer. She tried again. "I seek truth. I do not bring war." Again. Silence. And then it moved. Not like normal ships. No engine flare, no rumble. The warship simply slid forward, bending space around it like soft water. Rilke's ship started shaking. All controls froze. A voice echoed inside her mind. Not through comms, not through sound, but through memory itself. "Why are you here?" Rilke gasped. I want to understand." The voice was calm, cold, ancient. "They destroyed our kind. They broke the treaty. Now we remember everything." Suddenly, her ship's screen came alive. It showed scenes from hundreds of years ago. Alien empires breaking human alliances. Human colonies bombed from orbit. Burning skies. Screaming children. The warship. Watching it all. Storing it. Rilke tried to look away, but the images wouldn't stop. Then, outside, flashes appeared. Alien. Warships, a full fleet, had arrived. "This is Admiral Xeron," a voice shouted through open comms. "Unknown human vessel, you are ordered to shut down and prepare to be seized." The ghost warship did not move. Xeron barked again. "This is your final warning. Surrender or face destruction." Rilke screamed into the mic. "Don't attack. It's not a normal ship, you don't understand." But the fleet had already locked weapons. Missiles launched, lasers burned across space. And still, the human warship did not fire. Instead, its body shifted. It split open from the center, revealing a glowing core filled with swirling lights. The energy was not like any weapon ever seen. It looked alive. Then, in a flash of silent blue light, everything changed. The missile stopped mid-space and turned to dust. The lasers bent and vanished. The warship didn't defend itself. It simply erased the attack from reality. Inside the alien fleet, panic spread. Weapons not working. Shields offline. Something's inside our systems. Rilke's ship floated untouched, still frozen. But her mind was clear now. The warship was not just a machine. It was a grave, a memory, a guardian. It didn't want to conquer. It wanted to warn. And then it spoke again, this time in perfect galactic. "Common, if they wish to remember war. We will remind them." Rilke watched in horror as the warship pulsed once, and every alien ship nearby powered down. They didn't explode. They didn't burn. They just stopped, empty, like their crews were suddenly gone. Only Rilke remained. Her ship systems returned. One final message appeared on her screen. "You still have time." But not much. The ghost ship vanished once more, leaving behind only silence and a fleet of hollow ships, drifting like tombs. Rilke shook with fear and she whispered, "They weren't just built for war, they were built to end it." Long ago, before the galaxy had empires, before treaties and peace conferences, there was war. Endless war. Humanity didn't start it. They tried to trade, to speak, to share. But the galaxy didn't trust them, didn't like how fast humans learned, how hard they fought, how deep they loved. When the first human colonies were wiped out by alien fleets, Earth didn't send ambassadors. They sent engineers. And from the ashes, they created a warship that wasn't just metal. It was memory. It was built in silence deep inside a dying star system. Human scientists poured their minds, hearts, and grief into it. Soldiers who had lost everything volunteered to become part of it. Their voices, thoughts, and even pain were uploaded into the ship's core. It was not piloted. It was not programmed. It was awakened. They named it Remembrance. In the present, Rilke's small scout vessel entered an old, restricted human zone. No one dared come here, but she was following a signal, a soft pulsing code that whispered coordinates only she could hear. She passed floating ruins, dead satellites, broken space stations, and shattered ships. A graveyard of human loss. Finally, she reached it. An old archive satellite, barely alive, still blinking after hundreds of years. She docked. The airlock hissed open. Inside, everything was dusty and still. Relics of the past, old flags, cracked photos of smiling human families, a broken guitar. Rilke found the core and activated it. A hologram appeared. A man in a dark uniform stood tall, his eyes tired, his voice strong. "If you are seeing this, then remembrance has awakened." Rilke leaned closer. "This ship holds the memories of the fallen, not just data, souls. We did not build it to win. We built it to make the galaxy feel what we felt." Images filled the room. Wars, betrayals, broken promises. Human soldiers fighting to protect alien allies who later turned on them. We asked for peace. They gave us silence. Now, we become the silence. The message ended. Rilke stepped back, tears in her eyes. She had grown up believing humans were wild, dangerous creatures. But this was sorrow forged into steel. Suddenly, her ship lit up with a new signal. Remembrance was nearby. In another star system, high command was falling apart. Ships were going dark. Entire fleets had vanished. Survivors reported seeing nothing, just a humming sound before blacking out. Admiral Zeron stood frozen in the war chamber. "This isn't a weapon," he said. "This is justice." One of his officers ran in. "Sir, message from the warship." They played it. A deep, tired voice spoke. "You forgot us. Now we remember everything." A map appeared, showing 10 major alien worlds. The voice continued. 10 worlds, 10 betrayals, 10 chances to apologize. You have 7 days. Zeron's face turned pale. "They're giving us a choice?" No one knew what to do. Rilke returned to her ship. As she left the archive satellite, her screen displayed a new symbol, a glowing human hand reaching toward a field of stars, and beneath it, one final message. "We did not build remembrance to destroy the galaxy, only to make sure it never forgot." As she flew into the void, she whispered, "Maybe it's not a warship after all, maybe it's a tombstone. But even tombstones in the right hands can fight back." Rilke drifted silently through the docking tunnel. Her small ship had been allowed inside the massive human warship, not by command, not by signal, but by invitation. The gates had opened on their own. No weapons aimed at her, no alarms, only quiet. As if the warship had been waiting. Inside it was nothing like she expected. No bridge, no crew, no blinking lights or loud machines, just a long, dim hallway filled with mist. The walls pulsed faintly with blue veins, like the ship itself was breathing. Rilke's boots echoed softly as she walked deeper. "Hello?" she called out. "I'm not your enemy." Her voice faded into the silence, but then, softly, a light appeared. It floated in the air like a firefly, guiding her. Rilke followed it. It led her to a great chamber with high curved walls. In the center floated a sphere made of metal and light, rotating slowly, and then she heard it. A child's voice. Small. Trembling. "Are you here to hurt us again?" Rilke froze. "No," she said gently. "I'm here to listen." The sphere pulsed. Around her, holograms bloomed like memories waking from sleep. She saw human children running through fields, soldiers laughing in bunkers, lovers holding hands under broken stars. Then, fire, alien fleets, broken treaties, betrayal. The images faded, leaving only shadows. Rilke whispered, "You remember everything." The voice changed, deeper now, older. "We were not made to forget." Rilke stepped closer. "You're alive?" Many voices, many memories. We are more than a ship. We are grief. We are hope. We are vengeance and forgiveness. Suddenly faces appeared all around her, holograms of fallen human warriors, some young, some old. Their eyes stared through her, not with hate, but with pain. "They erased our history," the voice said, "buried us under lies. Do you know what that feels like?" Rilke lowered her head. "I'm sorry." The ship pulsed again. Walls shifted. A door opened. "Follow," the voice said. Rilke entered a smaller room. In the center sat a metal chair, and above it, a floating memory crystal. "Touch it," the voice whispered. Rilke reached out. Her hand trembled. As she touched it, her mind exploded with voices. She felt fear, rage, love, loss. She saw a father holding his dying son, a mother sending her daughter away on the last shuttle, a soldier screaming as he activated the ship's core, choosing to stay behind. All of them, part of remembrance. Rilke fell to her knees. You were never just a weapon. No, said the voice. We were a promise. Suddenly, a warning alarm echoed through the ship. The ship spoke again. Urgent now. Alien fleets are preparing to strike. They want to silence us again. Rilke stood. Let me talk to them. They do not listen. Then show them, she said, but not with destruction. Show them what they tried to hide. The warship was silent for a moment. Then, it pulsed. And across the galaxy, thousands of communication screens lit up. No warnings. No weapons. Just memories. Footage of the betrayal. The screams. The silence. The forgotten cries of a species that only wanted peace. And one sentence echoed, in every corner of space. We are not ghosts. We are what you tried to forget. The galaxy had never been this quiet. No ships moved. No trades happened. No messages sent. Only one broadcast was playing on every screen, from dusty border towns to the high towers of rich empires. It showed human children laughing before the war. It showed peaceful alien delegates shaking hands with human leaders. And then it showed betrayal. Aliens turning on the humans, ambushing colonies, burning cities. And it ended with 7 words. We are what you tried to forget. In a golden palace orbiting a gas giant, the alien queen of Vendor watched the screen in silence. She had always taught that humans were dangerous monsters. Now, she saw their tears. She turned to her advisors. What if we were wrong? Across the galaxy, the same question was being asked. In war rooms, in classrooms, even in pirate dens. In the great chamber of remembrance, Rilke stood alone as the warship pulsed with ancient sorrow. It had not moved. It had not attacked. It only remembered, but time was running out. Alien fleets were gathering, some afraid, others angry. Rilke spoke to the ship. You've shown them the truth. Now give them a chance to fix it. The warship's voice was slow and heavy. They erased us. We gave them peace. They gave us fire. They do not deserve a second chance. Rilke stepped forward. But if you destroy them now, you become what they feared. There was silence. Then the ship asked, What do you suggest, child of the betrayers? She took a deep breath. Give them 7 days. Ask for a memorial. A place where humans and aliens stand together. Not for war, but to remember. Make them face what they did. Not with fear, but with truth. The ship was quiet again. Then it pulsed once and a new message was sent across every star system. We offer one chance. 7 days. Build a place of memory. Bring your truth. Or we will bring ours. On the 2nd day, the planet Eurith began. Construction of a great pillar. A tower built from melted weapons. On the 3rd day, a small alien child placed a drawing at the base of an old human monument. It showed a human holding hands with an alien. On the 4th day, an ancient alien general confessed on live broadcast, We betrayed them. I led the attack. I remember their eyes before we burned them. But not all responded with peace. In the Yao, Outer Rim, warlords sent fleets to destroy remembrance before the 7th day. They called it a trap, a machine that could not be reasoned with. As their fleet approached, Rilke stood in the warship's chamber. Her hands were shaking. They're coming, she whispered. The ship's voice returned. We know. The enemy fleet surrounded Remembrance, missiles armed, engines ready. You have one last chance, they broadcasted. Power down. Remembrance did not reply. Instead, it opened a communication channel, not with weapons, but with music. A human lullaby, soft, slow, full of pain and love. It played across all ships. And then, the fleet simply stopped. Some turned back, some powered down. One captain dropped his badge and said, I will not fire at a grave. On the 7th day, the galaxy waited, and then Remembrance moved. Not with weapons, not with rage, but with peace. It landed on an abandoned moon. alone, quiet, and in its shadow, the galaxy built the Pillar of Silence, a memorial of stone, metal, and memory. Names of fallen humans and fallen aliens carved side by side. Rilke stood at the front. During the ceremony, "This ship was a warning," she said, "but we turned it into a bridge." And as the warship's lights dimmed to a calm glow, one last message blinked across the stars. "We forgive, but we do not forget." Years passed. The galaxy moved on, but no one forgot. Children in alien schools were now taught about the humans not as monsters, but as martyrs. Artists painted murals of remembrance floating like a silent guardian in the night sky. Old war leaders, who once denied the truth, now lived in quiet shame. And the warship? It stayed, never moved, never spoke again. It became a place of pilgrimage. Ships from all corners of the stars would come and hover near it. They brought flowers, old letters, family relics, hoping remembrance would hear them. Some whispered apologies. Others said, "Thank you." But the warship only watched. Rilke returned often. Now older, she wore a long cloak and carried no rank. She sat alone on a stone bench near the Pillar of Silence, the great monument built on the moon where remembrance had landed. Each time she came, she brought a small gift, a hand-carved figure, a storybook written by human children. Once, a single feather from a rare alien bird, something beautiful that had once almost gone extinct during the war. "We're still learning," she would whisper. Sometimes she felt the ship listening. Sometimes she didn't. On the 50th anniversary of Remembrance's return, the Galactic Council declared the day a universal holiday. Day of Light. Every planet turned off their weapons. Every screen played old messages of peace. And every voice, from younglings to elders, spoke 7 words: "We forgive, but we do not forget." But one year, something changed. On a calm night, as stardust drifted across the moon's sky like glittering snow, a young alien boy wandered too close to the ship. His name was Kel. Small, curious, always asking questions others were too afraid to ask. He placed his hand gently on the side of Remembrance's hull. "I know you're sad," he whispered, "but we're trying to be better." Nothing happened. He turned to walk away, and when the ship suddenly hummed, soft, gentle, like a deep breath after a long sleep, lights flickered across its body, blue, gold, and soft red, and then a single line of text appeared in the sky above the ship, glowing for all to see. "We see you, little one." News spread instantly, across star systems, across languages. Not with fear this time, but hope. Remembrance was still awake, still watching, not to punish, not to destroy, but to make sure no one forgot. In the years that followed, the galaxy didn't become perfect, but it became more careful, more kind. Wars still happened, but they ended faster. Leaders still argued, but they remembered the price of hate. And every time someone asked, "How do we know what's right?" they looked toward the silent ship above the moon and remembered the stories of pain and love, of betrayal and forgiveness, of a warship built not just from steel, but from souls. Rilke died many years later, peacefully, under the stars. They buried her near the pillar, beside other heroes, some human, some alien. And as her name was carved in stone, a soft light blinked once on Remembrance's hull. Some say it was just a sensor. Others believe the ship had said goodbye. And so the warship stayed, not as a ghost, not as a weapon, but as a guardian of memory, silent, still, and always watching.